You have probably seen it before. A curved pan over a roaring flame, a cook tossing food in a blur, and that sharp sizzling sound that makes a kitchen feel alive. It is the wok. At first glance, it almost looks wrong. The bottom is rounded, the sides rise high. A flat pan looks more stable, more familiar, more logical. But many of the wok's apparent disadvantages are exactly what make it work. So why did this curved pan become one of the most important tools in many Asian cooking traditions? What makes it so special? Let's get into it right here on Secrets of Simple Things. What is a wok? A wok is a cooking pan with thin walls and a wide, shallow bowl-like shape. It may have one long handle or two side handles. Unlike a flat frying pan, a wok is not built for stillness. It is built for heat, motion, and speed. The wok is most closely associated with Chinese cooking, but its influence reaches many kitchens across East and Southeast Asia, especially traditions shaped by stir-frying, intense heat, and street-side meals. Its difference is not only the curved bottom. The whole form matters. A small, hot base to concentrate heat, tall sloping sides to move food, and a wide surface that lets ingredients return to the hottest point in seconds. So the wok is not just a pan for stir-frying. It is a flexible tool for quick reactions and constant adjustment. But before it became a symbol of hot, fast kitchens, the wok had already traveled through language and history. A name with a long journey. The word wok entered English through Cantonese, a Chinese language spoken widely in southern China and among overseas Chinese communities. In Mandarin, a related word is guo, sometimes written as kuo, a broad term for a pot or cooking pan. But the history behind the wok is not a clean invention story. Some early clues appear in Han Dynasty tombs from around 200 BCE to 200 CE, where ceramic models show cooking vessels placed over stoves. But that does not mean the modern wok appeared fully formed 2,000 years ago. Those early objects are better understood as relatives or ancestors, not perfect copies of the pan we know today. The wok became what it is through gradual refinement. Its shape, material, and use were shaped by fire, metalwork, chopped ingredients, quick cooking, and the need to make food efficiently. And real life had one serious problem. Fire was not always cheap, abundant, or easy to control. Built for a world where fire was precious. In many traditional kitchens, fuel mattered. Wood had to be gathered. Charcoal had to be saved. A fire was not something to waste casually. So a good cooking tool had to do more than hold food. It had to make the most out of heat. The wok did this by concentrating energy. Its deep body and small, rounded base focus heat at the center instead of spreading it across a wide, flat surface. When ingredients are cut small and kept moving, they can cook in minutes. That speed was practical. Less time over the flame meant less fuel burned, and a meal could be made with fewer resources. In many places, the stove itself was shaped for the wok. A circular opening could cradle the curved pan and direct heat toward the bottom. The wok and the stove worked as a system. The wok became famous not simply because it was traditional, but because it solved an ordinary problem: how to turn limited fire into hot, fresh, satisfying food. But saving fire was only part of its genius. The wok's design also turned one flame into many cooking zones. The shape that turns one fire into many. Heat zones. With a flat pan, most of the surface sits on one level. Heat spreads outward across the metal, and the cook works on a single plane. A wok behaves differently. At the bottom, heat is most intense. The small, rounded base sits closest to the flame, so this becomes the searing zone. Move upward along the sloping sides, and the temperature gradually drops. Without switches or extra pans, the wok creates several heat zones inside one piece of metal. That is why a cook can brown meat at the bottom, then push it up the side to stay warm. Vegetables can drop into the center next, where they cook fast without becoming limp. Sauce can be poured around the hot rim, where it bubbles, thickens, and clings to the food instead of drowning everything at the bottom. Nothing has to stop. The cook does not need to remove one ingredient, wash the pan, and begin again. The ingredients move through heat like they are moving through different rooms. This is the real intelligence of the wok. It is not just a cooking surface. It is a heat map made of metal, and when that shape meets high heat and constant movement, it creates the flavor that makes wok cooking unforgettable. Wok hay. When heat becomes a flavor, wok hay is often translated as the breath of the wok. It sounds almost mystical, as if the pan gives the food a spirit of its own. But behind that poetic name is real chemistry. Wok hay is the smoky, lightly charred, deeply alive flavor that appears in great high-heat wok cooking. It happens when food meets extreme heat for a very short time. Sugars caramelize, proteins brown, oil releases deeper aromas, moisture flashes away before it can make the dish soggy. This is why movement matters. The cook keeps tossing, stirring, lifting, and returning the ingredients to the center. Food does not sit long enough to burn in one place, but it touches the hottest metal often enough to develop color and aroma. Rice becomes dry and toasty. Meat browns at the edge while staying juicy inside. Vegetables stay bright and crisp instead of collapsing into softness. Wok hay needs the metal of the pan, a thin film of oil, the cut of the ingredients, the timing of the sauce, and the hand of the cook. It is not just the taste of smoke, it is the taste of speed, heat, and timing. To create that flavor, the wok also needs the right material. A pan that learns from fire. The wok's material matters because wok cooking moves fast. Traditional woks can be made from cast iron or carbon steel. Cast iron holds heat well, but it can be heavy and slower to respond. Carbon steel became valued because it is lighter, heats quickly, and reacts almost immediately when the flame changes. That responsiveness matters. In wok cooking, the cook is constantly adjusting. More heat, less heat, food in the center, food up the side, sauce at the edge. The pan has to keep up. But a wok is not only shaped by the factory, it is shaped by use. A new wok is just metal. Over time, heated oil forms a thin layer on the surface. This is seasoning, a natural coating built from heat, oil, and repetition. It protects the metal and makes the surface more naturally non-stick. Unlike a factory coating, seasoning is earned. Every proper use makes the wok a little better. A new wok is metal. An old wok is memory, trained by fire, oil, smoke, and time. But what brought the wok into daily life was not only flavor or material, it was the fact that one pan could do almost everything. One pan, many jobs. The wok is often linked with stir-frying, but that is only one part of its story. Because of its depth, shape, and open surface, it can handle many cooking methods. With oil, it can deep fry. With water or broth, it can boil noodles, cook soup, or blanch vegetables. With a rack and lid, it becomes a steamer. With lower heat, it can braise meat or simmer a sauce. With the right setup, it can even smoke food. This flexibility mattered, especially in kitchens where owning many pots and pans was not practical. A single wok could prepare a quick lunch, a family dinner, fried snacks, steamed buns, or a pot of noodles. It did not force the cook to adapt to it. It adapted to the cook's needs. That is why it belongs not only in restaurants but in everyday homes, where meals often need to be quick, warm, and made from what is already available. And when this flexible pan stepped outside the family kitchen, it found its perfect stage: the street. The street food engine. Street food needs speed. It needs strong heat, steady control, and a tool that can handle one order after another. The wok fits that world perfectly. It heats fast, cooks fast, and gives the cook room to toss, stir, push, and adjust in seconds. Fried rice, stir-fried noodles, sizzling meat, and quick vegetables all become possible in the tight space of a stall. It is also a performance. The pan strikes the stove. Flames rise. Ingredients lift into the air and fall back into the heat. Before the food reaches the plate, people can hear it, smell it, and feel its energy. That is how street food helped carry the wok beyond Asia, not just as an object, but as smoke, sound, movement, and memory. So the story of the wok is not only the story of a pan, it is about cooking smarter with simple things. Why the wok still matters. The wok became important not because it looked exotic or served as decoration for Asian cooking. It mattered because it worked. It saved fuel. It focused heat. It turned one flame into several cooking zones. It allowed food to be fried, steamed, boiled, braised, tossed, and finished in one pan. Most of all, it turned motion into flavor. That is why it belongs in homes, restaurants, and street stalls, wherever cooks react by sight, sound, smell, and touch. The remarkable thing about the wok is not complexity. It is simplicity refined over time. The wok became famous not because it was complicated, but because it solved ordinary problems beautifully. With the right shape, the right heat, and constant motion, a simple curved pan could turn simple ingredients into something unforgettable. If this story made you see the wok differently, subscribe for more simple things with hidden histories. And if there is another everyday object you want us to explore, leave your suggestion in the comments.